The gods were real, at least, that's what the ancient Greeks believed. And these weren't peaceful, loving gods. They were jealous, violent, petty. They fell in love with humans, started wars over beauty contests, and punished people for crimes they didn't commit. But here's what nobody tells you: every myth has a lesson. Every monster represents something real. Every hero's journey mirrors our own struggles. This isn't just fantasy. This is how an entire civilization explained the world, taught morality, and understood human nature. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the greatest stories ever told, and reveal what they really mean. Welcome to Greek Mythology Explained. He literally shoved them back into Gaia's body, trapping them inside the earth. Gaia was in constant pain, so she created a weapon, a sickle made of adamant, the hardest metal. She gave it to her son Kronos and said, "When your father and their children instead. When Zeus had an affair with Leto, Hera forbade any land from giving Leto a place to give birth. Leto had to find a floating island, Delos, to deliver her twins, Apollo and Artemis. When Zeus turned Io into a cow to hide her from Hera, Hera sent a gadfly to torment the cow woman forever. Hera's jealousy was legendary, but here's the thing: she wasn't just a jealous wife. She was the goddess of marriage and family. Her anger represented violated trust and broken vows. In a society where marriage alliances held kingdoms together, Hera's rage symbolized the consequences of betrayal. The other Olympians had their own issues. Athena, goddess of wisdom, was born from Zeus's head fully armored after he swallowed her pregnant mother. Ares, god of war, was hated by both his parents for being too violent, and this is in a pantheon that included gods who ate their children. Hephaestus, the blacksmith god, was thrown off Olympus by Hera because he was born ugly. He landed on the island of Lemnos and became the greatest craftsman in existence, creating palaces for the gods and weapons that could kill immortals. Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, was married to Hephaestus but constantly cheated with Ares. One day Hephaestus caught them together. He'd forged an invisible net and trapped them in bed, then called all the gods to laugh at them. Even divine love was messy. Let's talk about heroes. Perseus is the perfect example of the Greek hero's journey. His story starts with a prophecy. Those always cause problems. King Acrisius was told his grandson would kill him, so he locked his daughter Danae in a bronze chamber where no man could reach her. But Zeus reached her as a shower of gold. Danae became pregnant with Perseus. When Medusa was one of 3 Gorgons, monsters with snakes for hair whose gaze turned anyone to stone. Looking at her meant instant death. How do you kill something you can't look at? Perseus got help from the gods. Athena gave him a polished shield. Hermes gave him winged sandals and a sword that could cut through anything. The nymphs gave him Hades' helm of invisibility and a magic bag to carry the head. Perseus found Medusa while she slept. Using the shield as a mirror, he looked at her reflection and cut off her head without meeting her gaze. From her neck sprang Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant with a golden sword, because she'd been pregnant by Poseidon when Athena cursed her. On the way home, Perseus saw Andromeda chained to a rock, about to be eaten by a sea monster. Her mother had boasted that Andromeda was more beautiful than the sea nymphs, so Poseidon sent the monster as punishment. Perseus killed it, freed Andromeda, and married her. When he finally returned home, he turned the evil king to stone using Medusa's head. Later, competing in athletic games, Perseus accidentally threw a discus that killed an old man in the crowd. That man was his grandfather, Acrisius. The prophecy fulfilled despite everyone's efforts to prevent it. That's Greek tragedy. Fate is inevitable. Every generation needs a hero. For Athens, that hero was Theseus. His story is about a young man proving himself worthy. Theseus was the son of King Aegeus of Athens, or possibly Poseidon. Sources disagree. His father left him a sword and sandals under a massive boulder. When Theseus was strong enough to lift the rock, he could claim his birthright. At 16, Theseus lifted the boulder and journeyed to Athens. Along the way, he killed 6 monsters and bandits, each representing a different vice. He killed Periphetes who clubbed travelers, representing mindless violence. He killed Cenes who tied people between bent pine trees and tore them apart, representing sadistic cruelty. He killed Procrustes who stretched short people and cut tall people to fit his bed, representing rigid conformity. By the time Theseus reached Athens, he was famous. But Athens had a problem. Years earlier, Athens had accidentally killed the son of King Minos of Crete. As punishment, Athens had to send 7 young men and 7 young women to Crete every 9 years to be fed to the Minotaur. The Minotaur was a monster, half man, half bull, kept in an impossible maze called the Labyrinth. No one who entered ever escaped. Theseus volunteered to be one of the 14. He planned to kill the Minotaur and end the tribute forever. When he arrived in Crete, Minos's daughter Ariadne fell in love with him. She gave him a ball of thread and told him to tie one end at the entrance and unwind it as he walked. That way, even in the maze, he could follow the thread back out. Theseus entered the labyrinth. Deep in the darkness, he found the Minotaur, massive, powerful, half-mad from isolation. They fought. Theseus won. He followed the thread back out, took Ariadne and the Athenian youth, and sailed for home. But here's where the story turns tragic. Theseus had promised his father that if he succeeded, he'd change the ship's sails from black to white. In his excitement, he forgot. King Aegeus, watching from a cliff, saw the black sails and thought his son was dead. He threw himself into the sea. That sea is now called the Aegean. Theseus returned victorious but became king through his father's suicide. Bare hands and wore its skin as armor forever. Second, kill the Lernaean Hydra, a serpent with 9 heads that grew 2 more every time you cut one off. Hercules burned the neck stumps after each cut so they couldn't regrow. Third, capture the golden hind of Artemis, a sacred deer that could outrun arrows. Hercules chased it for a full year before catching it. Fourth, capture the Erymanthian boar alive. Fifth, clean the Augean stables in a single day, stables that housed thousands of cattle and hadn't been cleaned in 30 years. Hercules diverted 2 rivers through them. Sixth, drive away the Stymphalian birds, man-eating birds with bronze beaks and metallic feathers. Seventh, capture the Cretan bull that was ravaging the herself. 12th and final. Capture Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld. Hercules accomplished all 12, but his suffering wasn't over. Years later, Hercules married again, a woman named Diana. The centaur Nessus tried to kidnap her. Hercules shot him with a poisoned arrow. As Nessus died, he gave Diana a vial of his blood, telling her it was a love potion. If Hercules ever stopped loving her, it would bring him back. Years later, thinking Hercules was being unfaithful, Diana soaked a robe in the blood and gave it to him. But it wasn't a love potion. It was the same poison that had killed Nessus. The robe burned into Hercules' skin. The pain was so unbearable that he built his own funeral pyre and had someone light it. proves that even the strongest people carry unbearable burdens. Prometheus demonstrates that progress requires sacrifice. Orpheus reminds us that love makes us vulnerable to our own doubts. These gods weren't perfect. They were petty, jealous, violent. But that's the point. They represented us, with all our flaws, magnified to cosmic scale. The Greeks didn't pretend gods were paragons of morality. They showed that even divine beings struggle with the same temptations, the same weaknesses, the same failures we do. If this changed how you see mythology, subscribe for more deep dives into ancient stories. Drop a comment telling me which myth shocked you most. Because these aren't just old stories, they're mirrors showing us who we are. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.